Hello friends, Barney here. I've been reflecting a lot in starting this journey just on the way that social media creates these kind of false dichotomies between unawakened and awakened. And although there are many really reputable spiritual teachers out there that will let you know that there's still a huge amount of human stuff to metabolize, to digest within an ever unfolding journey, we still see such polished images and, such well-rounded content that it's hard to relate to the other as someone who's very, very much like us. Whose humanness is just as palpable, who hasn't necessarily moved beyond the fallibilities of everyday life. And we really need to stay grounded in this humanness, or at least from the perspective that I take, which has quite a lot of non-dual tantric influence to it. And what I mean by that is, who we are as people is not something that is occupied by a shared consciousness and a oneness, but that it is itself. So our humanness has the same status as divinity for me, as the conscious awareness which produces it, that it's all consciousness. And so, if we give ourselves a hard time, particularly in that vulnerable early stage of just having had significant insights and had our grounding for reality shifted in a really big way, at that point in time, there can be a frustration because, everything feels so very, very different. And we know ourselves to be peaceful and loving and inherently in unity, in harmony with all that is. And yet our humanity invariably behaves in different ways. And so beyond kind of getting caught up in an image of other or a projection of other, we can then start to kind of other ourselves from that conscious grounded being, start to create an internal dichotomy of when I'm being a good spiritual person and when I'm being a bad spiritual person. And it can be frustrating. And there's a lot of reason to have a very firm commitment to behaving with as much integrity as we possibly can, and to hold ourselves accountable for moments of disintegrity. But that's not the same as othering. It's not the same as punishing. And arguably, there's no I don't know where I was going with that one. You're going to get a lot of this on these videos because I don't think about content before I begin speaking. And, the flow doesn't always come out super flowy. And this is normal. It's okay. I think that we do have these really curated images of awakening online, and I absolutely love it when people get on and share about how messy they are after significant insights or awakening experiences, how long it takes them to work out how to even be basically functional in the world, because that is a reality of changing your primary foundational beliefs, falling away, is going to cause some disruption to everyone. For some people, it's going to be more disruption than others. And again, this is another point of comparison that we can get caught in, is like, how long does it take to actually start to integrate? But it's not like we're going to arrive at a point of whole integration necessarily. I don't want to make judgments about that, because I'm certainly an uncooked chicken. I can't I can't say for sure whether or not it is humanly possible in this lifetime to really, really fully get there. Certainly there's some systems of belief that see the potential for karmic seeds to be woken up at any point up until death. And then there's other systems that feel that absolute, irreversible liberation is possible in this lifetime. And being someone who hasn't had an experience of that extremity, I'm not going to make any assumptions. But I have it on good authority from people who are very well integrated and absolute beacons of living teaching, in my mind, that the humanity is still very, very visceral. And it's simply by way of not being partial to our teachers' intimate lives that we don't necessarily see when the wheels fall off. So yeah, I guess this is just a short video to suggest being really gentle with yourself and recognizing that you can hold yourself accountable for behaviors, actions, thoughts and feelings that are inducing duality and conflict, without necessarily heaping shame and guilt upon yourself at the same time. And that in fact it's a wonderful, wonderful blessing that our humanity continues to be a very, very active part of experience, even when the interiority has shifted so drastically, because it's that friction which gives us the energy and the fuel to continue moving forward along the path. And I don't mean that in a linear sense, it's not like we're going from point A to point B, but that we continue to take action within this incarnation, that we continue to contribute through our beingness to the world around us in an intentional way. Because if we were to be devoid of that humanity, of that embodied fallibility, it's highly likely that there's not a lot of momentum to our unfolding in this existence. I don't, this comes again from my particular view on reality following the insights that I've had, that this consciousness isn't necessarily static. And again, there's different traditions that offer different viewpoints on what the nature of ultimate reality is. But certainly in my mind, action and the continued engagement with life through humanity is a significant gift that we offer the world. And it's something that is unavoidable because it's our nature. We're here in an embodied experience. So don't try to push away or suppress your humanity. Don't try to make bad the material or the friction, the tension of life. Enter into it, be intimate with it, feel it with as much embracement as you possibly can. And I think ultimately that will take you to places that have much, much greater reservoirs of compassion for all that you see around you. Nothing else today. Enjoy.